I've been playing a bit of CTGP recently, and I've decided today, after 22 hours of gloom, it's about to go boom. That's right. No clue what I'm saying. Oh, see what 5,000 follow me. Nice. That's great. Right. So, I guess we just start then. Sec. I have no clue at all why I'm doing this. Honestly, yeah, no clue. It's just, it's happening, and it's fine because there aren't any mistakes. Just happy. Sorry, there's no accidents. Just happy mistakes. I wouldn't argue this is a happy mistake. This is more just a mistake, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, that's the only proper soliloquy I'll be doing while I wait for people to join, because like one person's doing this. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So, yeah, this is just gonna be a super long marathon. It'll be great, you know. See a bunch of people coming onto the stream. I had some marshmallows earlier while I was taking a break. Just roasting it on a fire, you know. It's a new track. I'm under the impression that Sky Beach still exists. Now luckily, unlike the previous version, the first couple of tracks are actually pretty decent. And they're also not retros. For a bit. You don't play retros till DS. Which is a couple hours in. Which is a good thing about having the option to play alphabetical. I will always play alphabetical because it just makes the most sense, to be honest. Even though CTGP, and the way CTGP is, it doesn't make sense, but I'm not really playing this just to be a CTGP. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, whatever. I'm trying this to be pure CTGP. You know, just short speedrun. It's not happening just because I feel like, you know, being extremely pure to the CTGP experience. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this. There is no good reason why I should do this. But it's fine, because I am doing it. Yeah. Alright. Finally play some Rock Bridge. We haven't played this since our last version, so yesterday. This version's not too bad for the time. It is actually pretty bad. Oh, I knew that. I knew I wasn't here. I don't even know why I tried to outrun it. Oh, nice. Let's check the VOD channel, see how it's doing. See if I need to see which VODs I need to upload and if I need to do anything on that. Nice. Oh, great. Is that just a crate? Oh, I thought that would have been a Goomba. Let's just swim it. But no, it's just that. We'll have a crate. Which is just great. Now I get it. Anyways, I can't believe we got that right yesterday. We're not going to see anything like that for a long while. There's just so much stuff going on MKV right now. I don't expect to see too many people in the stream. Right, Rockside River. Now, I don't recognise this track. Oh, jeez. Alright, this is the short one. And of course it's 5 laps, because why wouldn't it be? I know this is some shocking revelation, but the more we play, the closer we are to finishing. Yep. That's correct. Nice. What? I didn't know I could get hit by that. Great. rocky cliff. Alright, no. Alright. No, that's such a hard troll. Slide, by the way. That is some big, that is some proper trolling there. Oh, guys, someone actually live. Yeah, I don't care. And the people actually don't care. Wow. The shot is just not to even think about raiding. All that's gonna happen is just people just gonna be redirected to other people's chats until they come back and see they're watching like Hypnoshock or something. Yesterday never could be any other way. Wow. Nice. Nice. Great. Perfect. It's about to go boom. That's the coldest thing ever, bro. That's actually so cold. Why is it 4 laps? Never even think about that. They really consider making it 4 laps. Wow. Let's rate this track. Let's rate all these tracks. So this is Rooster Island, the track made in 2011. So just we should know what to expect. First of all, there are no boost panel animations, which is a very big issue. Not reading out that name. Hello. It's a very interesting name. Account created 11 minutes. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. Do you want to explain why that's your name? Anyways, so this is a track in 2011, so It's missing animations, therefore meaning it's missing boost and water animations. The way it can circumvent this is by having boost panel cutout shapes and then just the boost panel texture over it, which is fine. That's what it does. It uses the palm tree a lot and it uses Goombas. The Goombas have an animation speed of 60 and they're moving what I think is 3. There's a chain jump on the second to last turn. Third to last turn. There's a pretty well detailed, pretty nicely detailed one start line there, and there's the enemy crowd object there. So the use of Goombas means that you can actually get easy shroomers, and that's great because we're surrounded by a lot of off-road. Now this track is very good for if you have something like a golden mushroom or a star or a mega. It's perfect for this sort of stuff, meaning it is a bagging track, for example, something like N64 Raceway. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do, and there's a split path there, as shown on the minimap, which is very handy. And now it ends using some houses from Mario Circuit, which has a bit more extra decoration and links to the track better, and has the flower beds, and also a couple of pipes near the start as a few minor obstacles. Now the biggest issue is this track is rather overscaled. It's a very wide track, which seeing as it's a beach track would make some sense, but it just doesn't. It's not the best. There is. It looks pretty mediocre. Now this is a Mario Kart 7 track, so obviously I'm going to be rating how good it is. It's being faithful to the original. So first of all, I'm not great at don't play much 7. So how about we just rate this track in general, but not focus on the layout. So, unlike the previous track, this is a track added in CTGP 1.02. It has a boost panel. It has boost panel and half pipe animations. Here's the use of triple roads so that you can go over here. And it uses the penguin object, which is not featured in the original track, but it works very well. It uses a bunch of GCN around textures and icicles, just like in the original track. It has a split path with boost panels, obviously user animated, and then a nicely animated and made last jump. It's a rather bumpy track, and the little overlay of snow does not actually go over. So this is a pretty good track for the time, definitely. I've evolved. That's a slight issue. You can get sent back, which is not very good. It's been 37 hours and I'm so brain dead. I'm resorting to rating tracks. So that's fun. Anyways, get me on the track counter right now. There's actually use of the volcano piece object right there to help to make that falling piece of rock. This must be a political image to climate change, which we do not want political things in this pack, in this CTGP pack, seeing as people from all around the world play it. I'm sure I'm not overthinking at all. Now there's the use of the Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy in the background, which is just a PNG like the original track. Obviously there's no half pipes in the original track, but this is good because it adds it makes it a little more interesting, adds a little bit of tech to it, and makes it a bit more interesting. Yeah, sorry, it makes it more fun. And this as well. Now there is a spot like there you can't actually trick off, which actually makes it more enticing to go to the middle. There is no sticky road here, or there's little sticky road, but the road is very bumpy, meaning that this is not a very fun track to drive, especially in these bits where it's using slippery road, which is all sticky, and you're not going, and you're losing control, which means that it's very difficult to drive in some places. It uses a stunt trick for its last trick, which is not very satisfying, but it's fine. Yeah, the snow overlay here does not extend out to the finish line, which is a rather big issue, or any sort of shading at the end of the finish line. Okay, we are going to be playing Rush City Run now. This is a yeah, I'm rejecting that. It's not really yet. Also, why aren't you showing up in my community bit? I'm getting affiliate tomorrow. That is if I get at least 3 viewers tomorrow, which I'm sure I will get. Anyways, let's rate the track. Now this is a track that is actually currently in CTGP or recently got removed. It's a very skill-based track. It has a bunch of shortcuts, some of which will be shown. It has a split pass in a second, which is a very interesting thing. You can go up or down. It doesn't really change much to the gameplay. It's a little more interesting, but nothing too crazy. Now, there's a little ramp shortcut here, and then if you go over here and actually get it, which is a very easy shortcut, so that's a bit embarrassing I failed, but you can drift over, land in that little road bit on the side. We'll showcase it lap 2, so that leads to a very good shortcut, which is very good. There's a bunch of very downward slope at the end, which is very interesting. Adds a lot of personality to the track. Now the biggest issue is there's off-road before you reach the ramp, which makes it rather awkward, because you're actually at slower speeds for seconds. Now, luckily, oh wow, some boost panels are rather weirdly done in animations like that. Now this track has survived in the pack, or did survive in the pack for very long, so this is a very impressive thing that it definitely needs credit for. Here's the shortcut. It's a very easy shortcut, assuming you can actually get up the slope, which I clearly couldn't lap 1, which is very awkward. But it's a very nice track. It's got arrows to indicate, not like it's a difficult layout, so not like you'd need much arrows. It's a very boxed off track. The way of using buildings and cities and rooftops and railings is a great idea. And the ramps, some of them work good, some not so great, which is a slight issue, but nothing too major. So that is a-okay. Now here's the shortcut one more time. Now you need to pull up drift, or else you won't get it as great. Assuming your wheelie is at about 90 km already, you'll be doing very well on that cut, but you might just clip a tiny bit of off-road, which is just not very beneficial at all. It's a shame. So it's a very important thing to know. But so on our next track, I can't remember what our next track was. What was our next track? I'll go first. By the way, a Sacred Fog Coast. This is an older track, CTGP 1.02. I got confused with this and Punch City 2. It turns out Punch City 2 didn't actually exist in CTGP by the time I started playing, which was a proper surprise to me, because I didn't realise tracks would be actually removed. Anyways, we're at 37 hours now. Now, this track has a very nice green theme. It's one of the first tracks, it's the first track in CTGP to use vertex colours in its minimap, and it uses it very well. It uses it, or could even be textures. advanced minimap stuff it uses to make it look a lot more interesting and eye-catching. Now there's some shortcuts. It's a relatively short track as well, but it's visually impressive. Its main focus is around the green, the colour green, and the biggest thing is its sort of mysterious theme almost, which is a very interesting theme for a track. Now there's that shortcut there. It's mainly stream only because, as you just saw, you actually need a stream rush. You just be going through that really slow off-road. So you don't need one, but you definitely should have one, or else you're losing time. Wow, beach. Now the use of wigglies on this track is very good, as it causes for a slight hazard, but nothing that will end up, you know, getting you in the end. And it's very interesting scenery, especially for the time. This also uses animated textures, and it's mainly the wigglers that are textured. Actually, the Goombas aren't textured, but it's the post effect that does all the work anyways, that makes everything look like that. So you wouldn't be able to tell, for the most part. Now there is a slight thing about this track, and it's you know, there are some awkward spots, but it's not a terrible track. For the time, it looks very well actually. It looks very good actually. Anyways, we are doing Sacred Woods next as our probably 180th. Something ridiculous. I'm going to assume we have about 308 days left of this on, if we're doing it on this pace, which is going to be great. So this is a new track. It was added in CTGP 1.03 012, and it features the Mushroom Gorge tree, another track, but that's where it's predominantly used with these textures, and it's a very it's very used model in this track. Now, from what I'm seeing, it may be only in the model. Seeing as it's not a KMP object, it could be. I wouldn't know, seeing as I don't have access to the KMP of this easily, and I'm not going to do it while doing the speedrun, because that would be a huge waste of time. There's a split path here, which is very interesting. From what I can tell, the left side may be faster, but it's a lot slower. It's a lot thinner. Please excuse me saying some random things, since I'm trying to talk really fast about a track. There's a lot of leaf piles around, and there's a little fountain or something in the middle. The slopeness of this track is quite interesting. That ramp doesn't really have much of place, which is obviously not a great thing. This ramp here into a mushroom is a very satisfying thing. It's not entirely the best to play, but it still looks fine. Now let's see. Let's try the left path, see what happens there. So you actually get a box, which is very good track design. What is very bad track design is there's actually a second path here. The trees do not have collision, which is very, very awkward. This tells me it's just purely in the model and completely scrapped from the KCL. Meaning this is very awkward, seeing as you're driving through a tree and there's a high chance you wouldn't have known. You probably tried to avoid the trees, which has been just a bit very awkward. Now there is one wiggler in this track, which is very good, and a big leaf pile. I don't think that actually gives you anything. I think it's just for the effect. And there's a metal grate. I see some pretty bad texture mapping, which is not great. Now with a fib or two, you can completely trap this cut. And if you launch yourself down to here and then go to the right, you can actually do some interesting ending shortcuts, which is very interesting and sort of exciting, you could say. Now you guys should try have a look at the new power-ups and rewards that we have sorry, not the power-ups, just the rewards that we have. We have a multitude of them, so this will be, I guess, very interesting. We have some new ones, pick track 32 tracks, pick track 1 whole speedrun, an end run. That is right, you guys, if you this is mathematically impossible. If you manage to get all them channel points, the stage is yours. You can choose to end the stream and reset the whole run with only 1,000, and with 5,000, and with 500,000. Seeing as you've been watching for so long, I am personally going to be gifting a tier 1 sub for 1 month. Which will be very useful, seeing as soon we'll be using affiliate and we'll start having ads. Very, very brief ads, mainly for the lurkers. But just a thing I thought you should definitely know. Here we go. So this track is a port from Sonic Adventure Deluxe. I don't know what it is, SADX, whatever. Now, this was added in CTGP 1.02, and this track is about 3:30 long. Now, fun trivia, Sonic trivia number 2, whatever. This track, I know I already said it in the CTGP 1.02 stream, but which was only yesterday, by the way. When I first got CTGP, this track would actually crash, which is very interesting. I believe it might have just been a corrupted blob.bin, seeing as I was pretty careless with my SD card and using a bad converter and not doing many useful things for it. But it's something you should definitely know. Now, let's try and not get hit. That's bad track design because it allowed me to get hit by them. But actually, the fact that you can trick in the cannons is very good. Seeing as it's not a very used feature in old tracks and more modern tracks. This is actually because it uses a boost ramp and not just trickable road, which was pretty sparse in tracks. There weren't too much trickable road spots in older tracks, which is very interesting. Oh, okay. Now the bumps are on sticky road, which means it's a little strange and you should not drift. And also, the last ramp is not a boost ramp, which is very unfortunate because that's just a bit awkward. It's just a bit awkward. It's fine though, because the overall layout is relatively decent. Now the minimap does go off the screen slightly, which does make it rather jarring, seeing as it's only a pixel off, making it so it doesn't end, which makes it really does not make it very satisfying at all. I don't believe there are any sort of methods with reinvested S tools yet to help patch the minimap. Now we obviously can do that, but I believe what they did was they went into BRAS editor in CTools, and they just manually translated it, the minimap, or and tried to scale it to the perfect amount and scale it as good as possible to what it will end up being. This uses this uses Galaxy Coliseum as its music as well, being one of the only few to, which is very interesting. At least as its music, not as its overall track slot. I would have to check the whole track list and their slots, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Next up is Sandcastle Park. It's an old Spiker track. This was released in 1.01, just when he was starting to become a competent CT creator who would make a bunch of tracks in CTGP. This is one of his first. This got relatively major update in a later version of CTGP 1.03, but not this version. So it looks very good. And you know, no, actually that's a lie. It does not look very good. There is animated boost, and I'm contemplating whether that water is animated. I will just say so. Now this follows the tradition of old Spy Kid tracks, where Spy Kid would put the track name on a sign somewhere and have it showing, which we see for many tracks. That was an epic snipe. Wow, even with a bonk. That is a boost. That is a boost ramp on the ground instead of a boost panel, which is rather jarring, seeing as you don't go as far and your bike goes into the ground, which is not very good at all. But it's completely fine. This turn has a bunch of Shy Guy Beach trees. Underneath that is no wall, probably because this was before anti-beacon stuff existed. Therefore, there was a lot less. A possibility. There's a lot less chance that if you had a wall under the road, that it would actually not bonk. So I'm sure this is what Spy Kid was worried about. Therefore, not including it. Now this water is not rotated. Surprisingly, it actually has a wall below it, which means it is slightly weird in some places. And we can see just a random blue part where the water isn't. And it's actually very close to us, which makes it very jarring. Now there are very little fences, which is not necessarily needed, but is preferred for some simple tracks. But seeing as there's absolutely no water around on our left here, it doesn't really, the track doesn't really flow very well. It's got very little cohesion with, you know, it doesn't really make much sense. Truth be told, honestly. But yeah, there's also a big thwomp at the start, which acts as a very good hazard. Not only will it block you, but it'll also squish you. And there's crates which may have an item in them. I did not check, but if it does have an item in there, great, perfect, brilliant, best thing ever. But we'll never know. We will never know. Here is Seaside Circuit. Seaside Circuit is a new track. It had stayed in the pack for a very long time. Usually the night version. This version is the day version. Just like with Green Park, how that went from day to night. This one also went from day to night. This one has a bunch of Wii U and 3DS advertisements littered around, which is very interesting. It uses animated boost panel. The fence texture is ripped straight from Cooper Cape. There is a part where you actually go under the water. This is not a very good water animation in this version. This is the Moo Moo Meadows river texture, which is very obscure texture, and it's a proper question why it's even used in this. But I'm not going to complain. Now there's a Pokemon advertisement, if I'm reading that right. A lot of simple things. It's a very simple track. It has a very nice style. There's a couple of types of turns. We have a curve turn. We have a basically 3 90-degree turns with curved edges. And then later we have a regular 270-degree turn. These actually uses slopes, which makes it a bit more interesting. If you don't trick, which I assume could also be if you're shocked, you might not be able to clear the gap because the fence is at the back, which, if this is in real life, would be a good health and safety thing. But seeing as it's a racetrack, is not the best thing. And now we have two 180-degree turn. We have a 180-degree turn, like in Baby Park, and then a regular 90-degree turn. with a rounded off edge of the road. There is a big wall around the edge, and a bunch of castle tree 1Cs just around, which is very nice. It helps bring atmosphere, and some Goombas of course, and some yachts. Although this seems rather strange, there's no port for them, so they're just sat there, just in the ocean. There's also a Mario Kart 7 font at start line, which is not transparent, which is a big letdown, or just any sort of. It could have been slightly differently coloured, so it looks pretty bad like that, but it looks, you know, whatever. And next we have that. It's a bit strange, you can't see what you're actually in, you're just barely in the water, which makes it very interesting. Of course you have that happen, but what I assume from this is if you go back to the part where you would have been able to go in, there may not have been any fall boundary, which would have been a big issue. So next we have Seaside Resort. So next we have Seaside Resort. This is a 1-lap track. Now in older versions of CTGP they would use just 3-lap counts, whereas here we can just use the 1-lap count, seeing as we're on CTGP 1.03 and we're using the lap count modifier. Now this is a very full track. There are 2 paths that we're about to get to, and they all lead to different places. I usually go to the left path, so why don't we go to the right path just for a little change. So we'll do that. This is a very interesting track. It's a very interesting track. It's got a lot of decoration to it, and it looks very interesting. Now in the other path you can actually go under the water, which makes it very interesting and fun. There's a little ramp shortcut there, which is very good for shortcut potential and also competitive play. This being all covered by grass is very good. It's not being covered by a set amount, it's just a wall all around. And now here's where the paths join up, and it's just here. Now there's signs which make it feel very like a resort, and there's balloons. Now these are only 2D models and ripped straight from the game, therefore it looks very mediocre, and you can easily overshoot somehow, clearly. And if you don't go with enough speed and that happens, yeah, so this makes me think if you're shocked you might have a difficult time getting there. Now transitioning in here is a little vine, which is actually in between the item box, making the item box look green. It's very interesting. Now this is a cave, and it's a very blue cave. That's the Cube water texture, which is very interesting the way it's used. And it's got very fast Goomba, which is very interesting. It's got a bit of variation, which is not very necessary, but it's nice. This is the Ranger.png from DS Peach Guns, and it really works well. It really just makes it feel like a more lived-in place. There's a rainbow because everyone's happy, and it's got a relatively decent thing, and there's Piantas cheering on as you finish. And just like on 3DS Woohoo Loop, you actually spawn back at the start, and your CPU will just do another lap. Let's play some seasonal circuit. So, Seaside Circuit is a track added in CTGP 1.02. It's quite simple by the name. What it is, it's just a bunch of seasons in one track, which is nice and interesting. So you can see all the seasons here. Here's summer, next is autumn, we've just been through spring, and then we will be in winter. There's penguins, and you can actually do this, and because the way the ice is, you can actually take a little shortcut here, and because the way the ice is, you can take an ending shortcut, which we will be doing later. How interesting. And now there's a wiggler, which is hardly seen, and it makes the most sense in the autumn setting, seeing as it comes from Maple Treeway, which is obviously an autumn themed track. You know, a set tree like. But it uses this sort of blossoming texture to try and show. So we have a couple of different textures and models of trees. Seeing as they're not animated, I'm going to say that they are just models instead of objects, and I believe it's just the regular ones that are animated, that are objects, because it'll be a lot easier just to do that. There are actually no tree objects. These are all just in the model, because there would be some small model animation, which is how coded. There's a bunch of leaf piles and leaf on the road. It's very fascinating. Here's the ending shortcut, seeing as we're on lap 5 of this 5-lap track. You just drive here and you finish. This might not be your preferred track if you're trying to do what I do without falling off, especially if you're going for that. Do not go for the ending shortcut if you're trying not to fall off, because you technically are falling off at the very last second. 16 Labyrinth, here it comes. Now this is a track that we're going to play almost every single version of, which is going to be very interesting. So we're going to be playing this 191 more times, 190 more times, so get yourself used to this, and we're going to be doing the same strategy 190 times, it's tried and true. So we're gonna slow ourselves down. I'm gonna bag for triple shrooms. I'm gonna hold it for the entire race. We hold it for the whole race. I'm gonna take a left here, and because we're on strategic, we are guaranteed to get 2 sets, just in case we miss another set. And now we've got triple shrooms, which means that now we can just take this, drop this ramp, drive the rest of the track normally, and now something interesting will happen on lap 3, and you must need at least 1 shroom. I like to just, hedge my bets with 3 shrooms. Now, because this is an old version of CTGP, where all items can land code is not a thing yet, there is a slight issue, and that is not being pumped, and that is the fact that some items won't land. They will just get shot really far, like that Mega Mushroom. That Mega Mushroom got shot thousands of units, which is very interesting. Oh, goodbye Baby Mario, because he's just fell off, showing potential poor CPU routes. Now here goes a ramp. This looks like an ambush ramp from Mario Circuit, just lowered slightly, which may probably be the case. Now there may only be a CPU or two that are able to go almost, you could say, on the same lines as me, seeing as we are doing two very different things. We're doing two very different strategies and routes, so it depends on what they're trying to do. Well, they don't have brains, so I'm doing the fastest way I know. Obviously we're doing the slowest way on the first lap for obvious reasons, and now we're going to do the ultra. And now, although it says ultra, it's actually not very ultra-like. Now, what do we call an ultra shortcut? Something that skips key checkpoints. That's not it. Something that skips off a very large part of the track. Arguably, you know, we can agree to disagree on this, but this is what is dubbed the ultra. So, you'd do this, and then you'd make it. Now, a method that other people would do is place a fake item box down, and then clear over the gap, which means that they can take slightly more optimized lines. Meaning it may be the fastest way, but they will have to accelerate it still, which is another big issue. Not quite getting rushy. There we go. So now I have Sky Beach. And this track is a very mediocre track, honestly. It's a 2-lap track from quite a long while ago. No, this is actually out of the last update. Now this is a new version. Now there is a chain jump and a spike ball. I'm going to assume that's either a cactus or a bomb. It's a cactus. And now I know firsthand it is. Now the minimap has a bunch of random islands out in the background, which I do not deem very necessary, just making the overall minimap smaller. Unless these islands in the background do have a large significance to where you'll be driving, I don't think it's very necessary to have. Seeing as it just makes the drivable part of the minimap a lot slower, a lot smaller. Now we actually get Starbox for doing seemingly nothing there, which is a very interesting thing. And there was a mushroom on the ground right there. It's a very interesting idea. It's like what they do in Mushroom Peaks, although there's only one mushroom on the ground in this version. Now it seems to be that there's almost 2 parts to the boardwalk sections. There's some parts that are strictly 90-degree turns and very flat edge, and then some places which are nice and curved and look something like this. They do look like this because this is exactly what the track is, but they have a lot more. They're a lot less just flat, you know, blunt and that, you know, flat, just blunt and that. You need to know that right. I mean, I've got all the time. But yeah, that's a chain chop. So the chain chop takes a change to have a bit more of a metallic gradient. I can't think about what that looks like. That looks part of the track most likely, but it looks like a waterfall to me. Potentially, now, correct me if I'm wrong, this may be like from some Zelda game. Now, for some reason, the camera is very strange. So the Starbox. What? The Starbox is actually revolving around. It's just trying to make, make it difficult to be hit. But of course, Talmispo. It's very intuitive design. And now we're back to some straight 90-degree turns here as we end off this track nearly. And some boost panels to help accommodate with this long design. Now we end our last jump off on a big flip triple ramp, and using the blight and some shadowy textures. There is actually use of shadows. Now this is no sort of vertex color or shadow map, it's just a new texture that is like that. Some tracks do that, and it's just a lot easier. And, it doesn't save on resources, but it's just a lot easier and convenient, especially in SketchUp. Alright, Sky Courtyard. So, here's Sky Courtyard. It's basically a KCL test turned into a track. Now, this is one of the first tracks to introduce tricking into cannons, which is very, it's a thing now that we take for granted, but you may not remember, every single no Nintendo track actually supported tricking from cannons. Now that catapult is actually inside of the road, which is very interesting. I wouldn't know why. Now this ending is not great, seeing as you can bonk a wall and lose some speed. You can't go too far right or else your lap will not count, and that is a big issue. And you can do that, you can, I don't know what it's called, you can like get a weird reject physics jump, and yeah. There we go. Just go slowly. Now there's two sides. This is a symmetrical thing, which does make it look a bit weird. You ideally want to be as far to the left as possible, not too far to the left, or else your lap, yeah, it won't count. But this is probably one of the least steep slopes I think I've ever used to use that little momentum. What is it? Like abuse almost. I don't know how I can describe it. I believe the catapults are actually enlarged, because I just saw the exclamation mark go up just like right on their head, which usually doesn't happen. That was a very weird KCO error. I don't know what happened there. I'll make sure to go somewhat far left, and yeah, you save quite a large amount of time. But you can't go too far, or else that will be an issue. So this is a track that we will be playing a lot in CTGP, slot circuit, and many tracks we'll be playing a lot, including Mushroom Peaks, which is obviously if you already played. Obviously that's not in the pack anymore. Palais Desert is in the pack as well as Colorado Mountain and Cloudway now. But those versions of the tracks are nowhere near the version that got removed on, especially Dreamworld Cloudway, which got a lot better over 2 years when it was actively being worked on. And there is, if I am correct, maybe some update underway on that track. I can't remember. Then maybe it's been quite a long time since I saw a photo of it, so it could have just been scrapped. Especially seeing as the CTGP update, it's very strange that is that. Anyways, so this is obviously a track set in a room. We're up to 38 hours. Actually, not about to. Actually, not really about to. But we're going to be somewhat close. Oh, this is something like Pete's custom track. Very interesting. It's a bunch of CTGP references. Obviously, CTGP is there. You know, it's just there. Which you're able to get a proper glimpse of in some places. Some places not so much. Okay. That's very strange. It used actually a solid offer instead of an asshole, which I'm sure they ended up changing in a later version. But it's a big bonus CTGP that's being played on a red blue, which is very interesting spin. And I didn't realise I was true. It would be very ironic if you used if you playing on Dolphin. I'm sure that would just indirectly get banned for promoting piracy. So this actually is that.com/35,000VR title screen that is, was the one at the time. I'm not too sure if it actually got changed in a later version, which would make sense, because obviously the touchscreen does not look like that anymore. Anyways, I'm some 64 Castle Grounds. There's a couple of Super Mario 64 tracks in the pack, which I'm not too big on. I don't play much 64. I don't think it really has too much of a place in CCP. But that's my opinion. Some crazy V-fighting or something on the water, which is a big issue. Now it's actually a light off-road, I assume only because it's a difficult turn to take. I see no reason why they couldn't have just made the turn easy to take, and that's a very awkward turn as well. Navigating through some water off-road, it's not brilliant. There we go. very good thing like this. You can just drift through everything. But there's a bunch of cannons which makes this not very cheap charger viable, which I'm very ashamed of. And it ruins the cheap charger. Cheap charger effectiveness. So apparently I'm actually going the wrong way, which is rather misleading, seeing as it's a split path. We'll see. Time won't lie. It appears that that path may be slightly slower, seeing as the fact that the track creator only programmed the CPUs to go that way. Although he may have purposely, they may have purposely done it just in case. You know, they may have done it on purpose, actually. They may have done it so that the CPUs go slower, but I don't believe that. So we're going to go the other way and see what will happen there. Let's go down here. And it's actually very good if you're on Dolphin Dash or something, because this is some proper off-road. This is a light off-road, and because Luigi got TC, he's now very far ahead, because seeing as he's just gone into a cannon, he's saving quite a substantial amount of time from the extra off-road that he gets. But I'm still able to beat him by a very, you know, hours. You know, I had a massive breakaway that whole race. Once Fortress, here we go. Now this is a track that was in a few previous versions before, I believe 1.0 or 1.01. Unfortunately, it's not very good. It's not a very good track, honestly. There are some major gameplay issues and major lack of some full boundaries, which are very necessary in this track. Now the main consensus is if you're like that, for example, just fall off and you'll respawn in a better spot. And now we've got a bomb, so we're going to back bomb, try and get somewhere. I thought we were going to talk that much anymore. Cheap charge rival, maybe. That might be cheap charge rival. It's increasing our breakaway hugely by a lot of time. Short bridge will be a lot faster. Oh dear. That is a shame. So we're going to go here. Oh, we just bumped Toadette. My Toadette should be able to drive now, which is very funny. And we also got Yoshi or something. So we have one more cup left of this stream. Right. We guys moving on to this first couple of SNES tracks. SNES Baz Castle 1 and 2 V1. Unfortunately the V1s of these oh no, it's just the definitive version, which is great. Unfortunately they still have the V1 of SNES Baz Castle 2, which is a pretty bad track. I'm surprised it stayed in. It definitely got removed shortly after. Or it's a different version. They just completely get rid of the other version. As soon as they didn't get rid of the old Rainbow Road, I'm not so sure. Time will tell. As in, we'll see in a few minutes. Anyways, wow. Okay. Here's the shortcut again. It's not so viable on Flame, but if you just do that, it works just fine. Now we've got to make sure we don't hit the fire wheel. Okay. Nice. Do a little rail ride if we can get to the rail. That's the only reason why they would keep the Baz Castle 2 old version in, because people know it, and also people might have not been so fond about the blue theme. Maybe that's all I could think of. Though, cause it's a very good track. I don't have any real reason why they would they need to have the other version, unless that first blue version is the first version, which is the V1 in this pack, which I doubt a lot. But we'll have SNES Rainbow Road, all 4 versions of that very soon as well. V4, by the way, got removed in 2020. Which is probably one of the longest living retros from the Mario Kart game, because Twinkle Circuit lasted so long. It got removed quite recently though. But yeah, we're up to 38 hours. I think we might go to 38 hours. We'll see. So, let's see. Is this the old version? I'm pretty sure it will be, with all the fire and decorations. Let's see. Yes, it is. I'm not surprised. Now, this track sucks. I've actually disabled the speedometer so we might get less lag, but it still doesn't mean it's going to be a nicely playing track in any way. Unfortunately. So we're just going to do this. The infamous laggy turn. We've only had lag on it once after playing it a bunch of times, which is interesting. Tomorrow is a very important day. We need everyone doing the stream as much as possible, because on that day, assuming everyone stays in the stream, I'll be getting affiliate Twitch, which will be greatly appreciated if everyone stays in the stream tomorrow, just like how we have been doing this whole time today. I want to see at least an average of 3. I understand I can't keep climbing every single day. I'm aware of that. But, you know, it'll just be great to see some new faces, some old faces tomorrow in a stream. We're going to be doing a lot of CTGP. And that'll be the biggest day. If you can help me get to affiliate, then thank you. I couldn't give you words on how thankful I'd be of you if you were there for the journey to help me get affiliate. I couldn't think of words that would be supportive enough to thank you if this happens tomorrow. I really hope to see some of you in tomorrow, a bit, even if you're just lurking. I love lurkers. I love lurkers. I love people who lurk, honestly. I shouldn't have, nah. Yeah, I should have. But as long as everyone's here tomorrow and I keep on falling off and get all the support that we've just kept on having, that would be great. Today we've had a very good day. Thank you for being on the move. Alright. Just too much right on. But yeah, I really hope we. Oh no, it's since Bowser's Castle 3. It's the blue one then. Yeah. I really hope though. Yeah, we got some. We appreciate support on this speedrun, especially tomorrow. So yeah, tomorrow is where all the important things are. You don't have to watch tomorrow, but any other day if you don't want to. So you don't have to watch any other day but tomorrow, if possible. know how good you guys are and how nice you are. So yeah, it'll be great to see this sort of stuff happening. There's Bowser Castle 3. We don't get to play V2, the blue one. I keep on talking about the blue one, but we can't actually play the blue one today. And I'm not even doing the extra 4 tracks. Yeah, 30 hours. Honestly, the time is really far away, so I just keep on forgetting to check it. Nice massive bounce. But obviously, you know, it's a slower day today. I mean, I'm not sure. At least now, I mean, I'm not sure how it could get better than, you know, a raid after the World Cup. Oh, okay. What? Okay. Why not? I remember you can't go up on it. Just happened to be right, and these days I just keep on ending with like an hour and 5 minutes left. So, you know, the next hour and like 5 minutes. Like these days are like almost flat on the hour. What they were. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know, we started off at like 30 hours and like 5 minutes today. Oh, I guess no playing it. No playing the track for me. Okay, and 3, 2, 1. 38 hours, 3 minutes, 49. This is, yeah, let's start. Yeah, I'll update everything. Yeah, okay, goodbye.